So, John, we're at Wimbledon this summer. You call a match for ESPN, later call another match for BBC, which is a normal thing for you. Then we have a conversation. I say, hey, Pearl Jam tonight, Hyde Park, you going to be able to make it? You said, no, I don't think so. I got to do BBC Studio. That's kind of a bummer because I know you're a huge fan and a friend of the band. So I go to Hyde Park. It's this amazing show. Eddie Vedder is inspired. The sunset, the moon is rising. At the end of the show, they play Rockin' in the Free World, covering Neil Young's classic. One verse into it, enter stage left, Johnny Mac, guitar strapped over his neck, playing with the band. I think, like, holy shit, you didn't know if you're going to make the show and you're on stage with them. I mean,
yeah, they call that bucket list stuff, obviously, for sure. So, yeah, that was one of the few occasions. It's the only occasion in the open era that one of the men's semi was a default. So, in this one case, even though I was very much looking forward to seeing Kyrgios play Nadal, when that didn't happen, then there wasn't really a late show I had to do. So voila, there I go. Actually, I played a show a few years back, just before the pandemic, a charity show where I played with my own band in Seattle, ironically. And Eddie came to the show with my buddy Chris Chelios, and I got him to come up and play a song. It was only, not 65,000, admittedly, probably 65 or maybe 100. And Eddie sang Rockin' in the Free World, ironically. So for me, it was unbelievable to go, I had that happen twice in the tournament, which is, never happened before. First, to go up on my wife's Patty's birthday to go see the Eagles. So she's played with Don and backed him up on a couple's albums, or one of her biggest hits is with Don. And then he asked me to play Already Gone at Hyde Park, and then Eddie did. So safe to say that I had a great Wimbledon.
well, I'm glad to hear that, man, because it seems like at times calling matches to the world's greatest court, going on stage with Pearl Jam, that's just like another day in your life. That's just a regular day for you sometimes.
No, that's not true. I've been fortunate to meet a lot of great people associated with the music business. That's like my love, besides tennis and sports, is playing the guitar, music, having the opportunity to meet these legends that I grew up idolizing. And music is inspirational, obviously. It keeps you going on a boring practice session. Blare some nice music. It pumps you up. And then all of a sudden to see that, like, Keith Richards and not to drop any names here, but Robert Plant, and you meet these guys. I mean, Led Zeppelin was my favorite band growing up. The Stones are amazing. And you're sort of like in some way, you're sort of like looking at them eye to eye, and they're like talking. They're like, oh man, I really love what you do. And this is incredible. And it's sort of like you pinch yourself, like, could this really be happening? So I've got to admit that over the course of the last 45 years, I've been very fortunate to been able to meet a lot of great people and, get mutual respect from them.